the turnover.
He's got a man.
Harper going deep. Caught.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to break down game one, go over the stats. How did we look offensively and defensively? And then we're going to jump over to the PFF website and see what the official PFF scores were for our players who did the best, who didn't do so well, and then maybe compare it to what Colorado did back during their North Dakota State game. You know, how did their players look? It's going to be surprising, mainly for some that said Colorado looked really bad or was a bad team. So you're going to be shocked when you see that. Plus, I have some big recruiting news, big recruiting update. Both of them for 2025. One-on-one, we already know. We've been waiting on an answer for. And then we have a brand new one that was kind of impressed with what they saw and is now going to be coming to Lincoln for a visit. So stay to the end for that one. And if you don't mind doing me a favor, please give this video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. It doesn't take but a few seconds, and I know personally I'd really appreciate it. So let's get into this thing. And first thing I want to do is go over the stats. You know, how did everybody look? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to jump over here. This is the game stats, and we are looking at the rushing. And overall, Nebraska, you can see Emmett Johnson had the most rushing yards. But if you look at Dante, you got to remember Emmett had that big long, that 42-yard long run. But to me, Dante Dowdell was more consistent throughout the game. He averaged 6.9. His longest was only 12. So to me, consistently, he just jammed it in there, you know, for a good 6 to 10 yards each time. And so you could see, to me, he was more consistent. Now, he did have that turnover. He did have that fumble down at the 5, and that might have hurt him. I think without that, no doubt he would have probably took the lead in this room. But that's a big deal, as you know, for this team. So I got a feeling not only did it probably didn't move him up, it left him where he was, which was 4th. But he could prove himself, because I did not see him come back into the game after that turnover. Now, that could have been by design. Could have been where it was now Emmett and Gabe Urban's turn, because you saw more Emmett and Gabe after that. You didn't even really see Ramir as well. But Ramir had the most carries and averaged 4.5. But I thought Dante Dowdell did the best when it came to rushing. Now, you do see that Dylan has 1, but that was that sack. Dylan didn't take off at all. And Dylan's not a runner, but trust me, if he has to, he could run. And don't be surprised in some of these other games that he doesn't do it. I really believe, I know a lot of people says they didn't hold back. I think they held back more than you think. He didn't run as many RPOs. The tight end screens were designed tight end screens. So I saw more RPOs probably with Harburg. You go into the passing, you see Dylan. Dylan was 19 of 27, 238. Remember, this is only through 2.5 quarters. They played one drive in the third quarter, 5-minute drive in the third, scored a touchdown. That was it. Never saw the field again. 238. So what would he have got if he played the whole game? 19 of 27. That's 70%. If I'm thinking right, that's probably like 70.3%. Man, tell me you wouldn't take that. You take 65, be honest with you. You take anywhere from 60, 65 every day. But we definitely take 70. How many of them was a throwaway? Threw that ball away, I know, at least 3 or 4 times on design throwaways. He took care of the ball real well. Didn't look like a true freshman, mainly for the very first game. I understand it was 1 at home, 2 at UTEP. You know, how would he done if it was last year and he was coming in and going to Minnesota and them crowds? I think he still would have done better than you think. I've yet to see him shaking. Doesn't mean he doesn't. Doesn't mean he doesn't get nerves. He just knows how to control it. Yes, if I'm saying it right. Now, when you go to the receiving corps, Nair probably had the better day. He had that big 59-yard catch down the sideline where he kept his balance with someone in Raiola's face. And then you saw Jamal Banks here. He was 61 yards, 21 was longest. Both of them had a touchdown. And you could see they hit their targets. Nair was targeted 8 times, but he got 6 of them. Everybody else was pretty well 100%. You see 4 and 4, 3 and 3. So Carter Nelson 3 and 3. Fedoni was 5 and 3. So you could see that even though there was 35 targets total, completions in that. So you can't beat that, because if you go up here even back to the passing, Harburg was even 5 for 5 for 35 yards. And it was more controlled. He didn't really sling it down the field. I know Dylan had a couple where he went. One was a pass interference. So I got a feeling you're going to see that. You can tell he loves to throw that deep ball, and he's really good at it. I mean, look at the one that was in his face, and you couldn't have went out there and handed it to him in the better place. Even the one down the sideline where Nair had a dive for it, went right through his arms on that dive, and it's basically where he had to put it. And I guarantee if you ask Nair, he's probably going to say, "Hey, I should have caught that ball." I'm really impressed on her passing. When's the last time we had a quarterback that passed like this? I cannot remember. Brooke Behringer, because people want to say, "Oh, it was Tommy Frazier." Tommy Frazier didn't throw like this. Tommy was an option quarterback. He could throw, but his throwing looked good mainly because of his legs, because of how he ran the option. You probably have to go back to maybe David Hum or Vince Ferragamo before you could find a quarterback that threw like this. Turner Gill could throw like this. Turner was one that could throw a good deep ball. So probably at least the Turner Gill. This is very impressive. And now we got some receivers that can catch. We probably hadn't had this receivers like this since probably Purify or Kenny Bell. So I'm really impressed. I even want to go to the special teams. Brian Buschini, and I was watching this when he was playing, had a couple punts. Both of them were beautiful punts. Beautiful. 53 long. He looked good punting, and I've been in here, and he's been looking good through the whole spring, the whole offseason. So it was good to see like this. So let's jump over here to the PFF scores. All right, now we have it. So we got our PFF scores. Let's kind of bring it up here. Some of you are like me and can't really see as well. Offensive side, Luke Lindenmeyer, the walk-on tight end, looked the best. 80.1 score with Dylan Raiola right behind him at 79.5. Then you look at Nair, had a 78.1. Look at this. Roman Mangini, 77.1. You're like me going, who? Yeah. One of the young guys. Emmett did well at 76. And then you got Bryce Benhart, who did really well on 75.3. Gabe Urban, 75.3. Jamal Banks, 72.1. Another guard, Knutson, back up, played 6 snaps, 70.8. Carter Nelson got a 69.9. Ramir, 69.9. So it's decent. It's pretty good. You're in the 60s, you're doing well. 80s is really good. Now, if you go to the passing offense, you can see Dylan again, top dog, 79.2. Oh, no, take that back. My bad. Nair was top dog, 79.2, but Dylan again was second, 78.7. Again, another backup wide receiver, only played 5 snaps, but he had a good one. Banks did a 70.8, so you can see they did really well. Even Ja'Cory Barney did well with that 69, and he had 20 snaps in the game. Now, here's where I want to go to your pass blocking and run blocking. Your pass blocking, Justin Evans Jenkins sitting over there, I believe, left guard, and he's up there next to Turner Corcoran, 85.9. With Micah on the right guard, right behind him at 85.9, Ben Scott 83.1. That's very good. That's very impressive, because that means your 3 guys, your center and the 2 guys, are protecting you right there in the middle. And you can't ask for any better than that. Even Ramir Johnson, 81.6. That's why he is who he is, because he knows how to block. Then you got Jacob Hood. He only had 7 snaps, but he's a backup tackle, did really well. Then Sam Sledge did decent, and then so did Seagren and Pyle. All of them played decent snaps. You see, you got 24, 19, 20 snaps. So you got some good snaps in there. And so look at these, all in the upper 70s. I want to go down and try to find Corcoran. Corcoran was a 65.4, which is pretty good. Of course, you are going to get UTEP, but that's where he struggled last year. He struggled really, really a lot last year. And so that was good to see. And you can see Fedoni 67.4. And just what I thought, you saw Fedoni over there with Corcoran a lot. I think that's why they didn't utilize him as much. And you might see that again in Colorado. But I got a feeling, you notice they didn't stretch the field a whole lot with Fedoni. And I think he was used to help out on that left side of the line because of the blocking over there with Corcoran. So you got Jenkins, and then you got Corcoran, and then you got Fedoni. And I think that's what you see. That's probably why they did run a few tight end screens, but I'm hoping maybe they open it up because I think Fedoni's more of a vertical kind of, like Gronk, he's more of a vertical tight end. So hopefully they'll open it up a little more. If you get over here, some who had some pretty bad ones, but there's some backups. Borkershire did not do well at all in the pass blocking. Really bad. So did a backup tackle, Knack. Even played 19 snaps. And I don't know if they use this, if Rule and them will use this or not, or they just use their own measuring stick, their own for it. But let's run over here to the run block. Janarian Bonner. That's why he played fullback last year, guys. Tell me how much of a badass he isn't out there if you get him out there blocking. 88.9, your best blocker right there. Best run blocker was Janarian Bonner out there at the wide receiver spot. Then you got Kalen Smith. Keelan Smith, look at that, 80.6. He played 18 snaps. That's not bad. Lyndon Meyer, it's a walk-on. He knows how to run block. That's why he's on this team. 76. You could run block, you're going to make it. This kid right here is going to make it in the NFL somewhere. People don't think he is. He's walking all that. I think Rules even made that remark. He'll make a team on the NFL. Now, starting, I don't know. But if you know how to block, you know how to run block, pass block as a tight end, you'll make it on there. You'll be on them special packages just for that. Then you see Bryce Benhart, always done well. He did a 76.3. Fedoni, 75.3 is very good. Knutson, another backup guard, 69. Banks did decent, 68. I know they whiffed on a couple of them. I know early on in them tight end screens on the first drive, they whiffed on a couple, let them in there to Fedoni. I think a lot of it was nerves, first game jitters. Corcoran did really decent. You see he had an average day. 67.4 offense, 65 run block, 65.4 and a 65.9. And you can almost take that every game. And then you saw their backup center, Seagren, got a 65.4, did better on his run block. There's Micah Mazuka. Definitely a better, which kind of surprises me, better a pass blocker than a run blocker, but he still did decent in the run block. Don't get me wrong. Every one of these, Ben Scott, Norker, for them to move the ball like they did on the run, and they got these scores, that's why you're saying you'll take it. Then you go Justin Jenkins, 61.5. And if I come on down here, I guess Harburg blocked one. I guess he did. Bricks, there's your backup, played 6 snaps. Bricks got in, freshman, 59.9. Did really well against the pass, 76.1. But what was that? Four pass? Yeah, 4 pass blocks, 2 run blocks. If you go down here, it tells you your pass blocks and run blocks. So you could see pass block, run block. So if you look like he didn't have a pass block, he had 2. He was a 60. Marie said, let's see, Briggs had 4 pass blocks at a 76.1, really well. had 2 run blocks, 59.9. When you only get 2, if you make one little mistake, it's going to really skew them numbers. The only time you can really get a number is when you really get some reps, kind of like any average. You could take one test and didn't do so well and made a 60. Next thing you know, your average is 60. Might get a few others where you get 100 or 90 or 80, and then next thing your average goes up. That's no different here. He only had 2 of them. And so you can see Powell, look at that. 12, he had 8 pass blocks, 12 run blocks. He had a 59.3. So he's got some learning to do. You want it a lot better than that. You're in the yellow there. You want to at least be in the green. Green is in the 60s, dark green 70s. Let's see, 80s is even dark green. So it looks like when you get up there to even gets even darker in there. Don't know what 90 is, but you can see they did really well. Now, if you want to, let's jump over to the defense. How well did we do on the defensive side? So here we are defensively. And then you see Stewart, the safety, 15, played in 15 snaps, 6 run, 9 coverage. You can see 84 on the defense overall, 54.5 on the run defense, tackling 42.4. Not very good. You want to see some high numbers on that. Coverage 89.8. That's actually pretty good, really good. So you got to like that. Emuellen, 80.9 overall, 73.8, 75, 75. I kind of like that as coverage, but he's a linebacker. It's not going to be great at coverage. But look at that. His tackling, 75. This is impressive. Same with Ismael Flores. He's the one that went in there and hit that, hit the exchange back where I was wondering, man, who's this? The backup linebacker that came in. He only played in 2 plays, but he made 1 count. So I'm sure that's why it's up there. He had a 78.2 because he was in there hitting them hard on a couple plays he was in there. Pass rush, it got a 59, so the other one he must have whipped on because he did pretty good, but I guess they took that as a run because that was a run defense. MJ Sherman, 77.8 and 66.8 in run defense, 78.4 tackling, 70 even on a pass rush, and 72 on coverage. Can't beat that, mainly for a linebacker, mainly the size as he is. Stinger only played a couple snaps, 1 pass, 1 cut, 1 rush defense, 1 coverage, and a 60 for both. Decent, but again, you only got a couple snaps, so you don't have anything to really compare it by. Let's get in there at Gabert. Bear had 73.7 overall, 85 on a rush defense. Really well, 85. 79.6 on his tackling, great. 71.6 pass rush, not very good coverage-wise. Wright was your better coverage guy. Wright's where you're going to miss your coverage is going to be with Wright. Ty Robinson played 21 snaps, 10 rush defense, 11 pass rush, at 73.4, 79.7 on a rush defense, 73.4 on tackling. His pass rush was not really great, but he did get in there and get the sack, didn't he? 54.2. You would like to see that better. And then you can see Charles Buford. Let's see how Buford did. Did a 69.3 on his coverage. Gifford, 73.9. They were all pretty good on defense, rush defense, tackling, 79, 76. That's what you want to see on this tackling. Let's look at this tackling. Tackling is key. Baird did the best, 79.6. Then Buford. Then you had the backup linebacker who got 4 snaps in. MJ Sherman, 78.4. John Bullock, 77.5. McGee got in there, 77.1. Derek Branch, another backup safety. Gifford, 76.4. Deshaun Singleton, 76.2. His coverage was even decent, 67.1. So you could see our defense did really well. A lot of green. Yeah, I know you're saying it's UTEP. But the one I want to jump over here and show you is I'm going to jump back over here. I want you to look at Colorado. See if we can find the Big 12. Let's go to Colorado. And you could see, guess who's number 1 at a 90.7? Shedeur Sanders. So you guys want to talk about how bad they did? Shador didn't do bad. I watched that game a couple times. They did some good things, but to me, probably just better. Just like Nebraska, they did better than what I would expect them to do. And the Bisons are not a real bad team. I understand they're an FCS team, but they give a lot of FBS teams fits when they play them, especially for the first game. His passing 90.4, his running 66.9. Pretty good for a quarterback. Darn good for a quarterback. And he even had a run block, I guess. Uh, guess who's right behind him? Jimmy Horn, 82.9. Travis Hunter, I know they have him as corner, but it's really wide receiver. For this category, it is 81.4. Look at these. These are the three guys that's going to make a difference in this game. Take these three, even probably one of these three, mainly Shador. You take him out of there, and then you wouldn't have to probably worry much about Colorado. But we can't. So they're playing. See, they're passing 82.4, 81. Running, well, Travis ain't your running type. Okay. Run block, not bad. For a corner/wide receiver, not bad at all. Now let's look at their pass blocking. How'd their line do? Benson did pretty good. 59 snaps, 85.8. Impressive. That both their guards did really well. 80.8, 85.8. You can't beat that. Offerdahl, 75.5. Their tackle, 68.9. Real good, real good. Their center struggled on the pass. But overall, they didn't do bad. Their halfback Hayden didn't do very well. He had 6 pass blocking. But this might be a concern to them. Their center, their number one center, struggled a little bit. But overall, they did pretty well. If you go to their run blocking, Miller, their wide receiver, and Wester, another wide receiver, did decent, 71. So they blocked pretty decent out there in the perimeter. But you can see Zelensky, their starting center, even though he didn't do well in his pass blocking, he did extremely well in his run blocking. Then you see Travis, he did well on his run blocking out there. The guard who did well, real well in the pass blocking, did decent in the run block. And then you could see the others probably didn't do as well. You could see run blocking, their other guard didn't do so well. Benson didn't do so well. Their tackles didn't do really well. And that might be a concern to them, even their tight end, mainly considering who you were playing. Okay, because you're going to be going up against a defensive front that's a lot quicker and probably a lot better than what you saw this last Thursday when they played North Dakota State. So that's what I wanted to say. So you can see this game, just because of this right here, that's where you're going to have problems. So how'd they do defensively? Jump over here defensively. And you could see in their defense, Wonko, he's your defensive end, I guess, defensive lineman, did decent. Run 78.7 defense, run defense 75.3, tackling 73, pass. He's your best defender. Walker 71, 67, did extremely well. Even Shiloh Sanders, let's see, Deion's other son, 71.8, really well. He's a safety, played a lot of snaps. 74 in the run defense, 86 tackling. The kid knows how to tackle. That's one thing he's got over his dad, because Deion could not tackle. That's probably Deion saying, "You're going to learn to tackle, son," because Deion was definitely a coverage corner. And then his coverage, 73.4. So everybody keeps talking about Shador and all that. Everybody talks about Sanders. I think Shiloh gets underestimated. The kid is good. And I think because of Shador and then, of course, Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, Shiloh gets overlooked sometimes. The kid knows how to play, you know. Then you could see 70. So they didn't do too bad. How's their run defense? Run defense 75.3, 74, 70. There's a linebacker. It's decent, but again, was that because of the quarterback run? Tackling, they did really well. I thought they did really well in the tackle. When they were able to make a tackle, they made a tackle. You can see their starters did really well. And then if I go to pass rush, again, extremely well. Um, Woods, uh, Walker, Brown, Green. And then if I go to coverage, this is where they might be lacking a little bit. But again, Shiloh is top. Then you got their two corners because even Hunter and McKinney did really well 67, 65, 65. It's probably when you get down into the depth where they didn't do as well. That's pretty good coverage. But again, considering who you're playing, but overall, they did well. That just proves to you guys Colorado didn't do as bad as you got. Just because the score was 31-26. Like I said, North Dakota State would have gave Nebraska trouble. Nebraska would have not won to me, would not have won 40-7 against North Dakota State. And it would have been just as much of a struggle to me against North Dakota State as you just saw here with Colorado. So please don't underestimate that. So this game's not going to be as easy as everybody probably wants to think it is. So I want to jump in here now and talk to you about some recruiting news we got. I was telling you earlier we had some recruiting news. What I want to show you is the first one, and we know who he is, came out, was out here watching the game. And that is Christian Jones. He actually came out to watch that first game and was really impressed with what he saw. The way we threw the ball, we were able to get the ball to even Carter Nelson towards the end of the game. He saw how the offense improved and looked better. And he said he was really, really pleasantly surprised to see what he saw. Still don't have a timeline. He still wants to make a decision probably by the end of this month. And so I got a feeling if we could keep continuing, Colorado's a big one. And just because of being a Nebraska boy, I kind of give my edge to Nebraska. I think they do too, but it's really down to Nebraska and Oklahoma. Probably wouldn't give it an 88.7 what On3 is giving them. I would probably have it more 60-40. I probably would eliminate Auburn and Kansas State right now. But you can see he's a 4-star here out of Omaha, west side there in Omaha. But he was really impressed with what he saw over the weekend, and that gave us a thumbs up. I think it's making us look a little better. Just when you talk to him, I think he liked what he saw, but I think he wants to see a little more. He might be like everybody else, UTEP. But again, I kept telling everybody, yeah, well, that hasn't for a while. That hasn't mattered who it's been. Georgia Southern came in here and beat us. Troy. I mean, even last year, Louisiana Tech was 28-14. So it was impressive to go do what you were supposed to do against an opponent. Remember, they were 27.5-point favorites. They won by 33. So they covered the spread. They haven't been doing that. So that's impressive. Now, there's one more that was not on the radar that's now got Nebraska's interest. And I want you to see this. And we have Cortez Mills. He is really right now committed to Oklahoma. He's out of Florida, but he was so impressed with what he saw. He's a wide receiver, 4-star wide receiver, 92.91 overall combined ranking from On3. He's a 4-star on all the sites, as you could see, considered the 114th player combined national. And so 15th overall wide receiver. And right now he is committed, but we've now got a thumbs up. He will be coming out for the Colorado game. He is now going to come visit for the Colorado game. So this is good news. He was really impressed with what he saw over the weekend. And so the signs are looking good. Is this someone we could grab, take away from Oklahoma? Kind of a bonus if we could do that. Grab us a good, great wide receiver, and on top of that, take something away from Oklahoma. Can't play him on the field, and so might as well beat him somewhere else, right? So this was great to hear. The kid was really impressed with what he saw, really impressed with our passing game, with Dylan Raiola, like we all were. And he just was kind of shocked with what he saw. But again, I think once we could get him on campus, he's going to be shocked there because everybody that comes here that has not been here are always surprised when they get here going, oh, thought I was going to just see cornfields to realize, oh, there's a city here. Wow, there's things you can do here in Lincoln. So it's great that we're getting him on campus. So can we grab him? It's going to be hard. He is, like I said, already committed. And I guess to me, this depends how hard me, Rule, and them really want him and need him. Because I know Michael Terry is the big one, and Michael Terry still up in the air. He's supposed to be coming to the Colorado game, but I still haven't heard officially if he's going to do that. But rumor has he was going to come. The Colorado game is a good game to come because it's a night game. So even though these kids are playing their high school football games Friday night, it's easy, and mainly down there where Michael Terry is in San Antonio, easy to take a Southwest flight to Omaha Saturday morning and make the game in plenty of time. Same with Cortez here. So if we get both these guys on here, and mainly Michael Terry, he's still up in the air. I'm still leaning Oregon for him, but Oregon struggled over the weekend, struggled against Idaho. But again, I don't take any game at the very first game of the year. You can't do that. I've seen Nebraska in their prominence years struggle at the first game of the year against sub opponents because, again, you don't get preseason games. So that's kind of what they call their preseason games to get ready for the season. So great news to hear about this on the recruiting site, see what that comes about, and I'll keep you informed. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up because you don't want to miss it when this kid does uh, commit to Nebraska or changes his mind and decommits from Oklahoma to maybe even open up his recruiting class and wait a little longer. Or you don't want to miss the news if Michael Terry makes it official. He's coming right now. As far as I know, he's still coming. I haven't heard he's not, but I haven't got word officially that it's now final he is. But the signs were he was coming. And so hopefully he still is. And I got a feeling he is coming because he still hasn't made his decision yet. So I still think he's up in the air. But I do think Oregon kind of got the run. So guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And again, like I said, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you want, show your thanks, super thanks down there. I really appreciate that too, guys. Till that next video, go Big Red.